Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Jasmine Pie. My pronouns are she, they, and welcome to my stream. We're doing something a little bit different today. I don't know if I've done one of these before. I don't think I have. Maybe I did. Oh, my hair's bad. Usually my fucking headphones covered up. But yeah, we're gonna do a just chatting stream today. Got a little bit of anarchist music playing here at the opening since it kind of fits what we're gonna probably be talking about. But yeah, I figure we're going to be looking at some YouTube videos too, so I'll get that set out. Oh, great ads. I got the ad thing saying that like ad was about to run, but then like, much. And now it's ceased. Well, let me know when you're. Something else. Anyway, hey, Mo, what's up? I am kind of quiet. Yeah. See, my fucking mic settings got fucked up again. Check it. Properties. Yes, but did it get? Let me try some. Okay, I'm gonna pause this for a second. I'll probably just stop it. Discord actually has a pretty good way to self-listen to yourself, and that's what I voice video. Check. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah. Test. 1. Test. 1. Test. Test. Check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, syphilis. Okay. Nice. Very nice. Also, how's that? Is that better now? Mucho better. Very good. Also, thank you, Destiny, for that plankton moaning. I also added a Lady Gaga sound, but it is biddies. So you need 100 biddies to do that. Speaking of biddies, rather bidseeds. Check this beautiful fucking amazing thing out. This has been giving me an insane amount of dopamine, guys. You have no fucking clue. This is a case for it. I got a cool like rainbow case. It's just like blue otherwise. But like this is the first virtual 3D virtual pet that you can actually touch. And I don't know what this is gonna look like on my camera, but okay, it shows it. It's got sounds. Y'all probably can't hear the sounds and stuff, but it's got all these different pets and stuff, and it's got like, let's see if we can get some different pets. And you can do things like, hold on, they'll tell you messages if you need to do something. Like this one needs something. What does it need? It needs its poop cleaned up, so we gotta clean up its poop. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Go back. Okay, so their poop is like, each one of them is a different color. This one's purple, apparently. So I gotta swipe it away. And then you get it in like a little jar, and you gotta do it again. Throws it in the trash. There's like mini games in here. You could throw up in the air. Spin them around and stuff, and they react to that. And they evolve and shit, depending on like how you treat them. They evolve, and there's like legendaries and rares. There's mini games. There's like transformations. So they each one of them's got this cool little like magic wand you shake around, and they each got their own cute little like animation. Like this one's like on an island, and then you can like rock them to sleep and stuff. I have trouble getting him to rock to sleep. It's my hardest thing to get to work right. It keeps thinking I'm trying. It keeps thinking I've tried to do like a dizzy thing, but I'm not. Hmm. But anyway, it's super cool, obviously, and it's got mini games on it. It's fucking amazing. I love it so much. Guys, this gives me mad dopamine. You have no idea. Look at the cute strap on it. I fucking love this so much. It's like Tamagotchis on crack. I had this other one like I almost got instead because like those at the store are really expensive because they come in this like big box. But when you get it on Amazon, it's like in a little cheaper, smaller box. I think that's why it's like a little bit cheaper. But the other one I was talking about was almost more like a Tamagotchi, but bigger, and it had all the buttons on it. But it also had this thing that you like put your finger into, and it's like there's like a little squishy nipple nodule in there that you can. I don't know. I don't know how it works. Mo knows better than I do with that shit because they've seen one of their YouTubers play with it. Get some clouds in here, y'all. Oh, Ulysses, how's it going? Good to see you. Yeah, we were talking about they got these like new Tamagotchis. If you remember those Tamagotchis, they got like these new ones that got like a little silicone nipple thing inside. You like reach inside and caress. Thanks, Zach. Let's get those clouds rolling. The clouds are rolling. So how's everyone doing today? This is very much going to be an interactive stream, so y'all tell me how y'all are doing, what's up, what's new in your life. I know we got lots of political shit to talk about, but we don't have to jump right into the heavy shit right away. Catch up and everything, see how everybody's doing. Just woke up. Well, good morning. Right on. Fucking enjoy your weekend. You got any big plans? Cheers, Zach. I can imagine Ulysses. I worked 2 jobs for a long time, and it was like I'm burned out pretty quick. Not to mention, like, let's all acknowledge the fact that we all have a reduced capacity to deal with shit right now, right? Like, my father just died, and I don't really feel like I have been able to give myself the proper time and emotional spoons and all that other shit to fucking deal with that. Do you know what I mean? I feel like so much crazy shit is going on that's like an existential crisis or like a literal crisis against my fucking life. Um, uh, it's kind of hard to think about anything else when some shit like that's going down. So that just makes even like little things in life harder to deal with, right? Because like when something, we all have bumps in life, and then when like something comes along, all of a sudden now that little fucking molehill feels like a mountain, you know? Hell yeah, we'll kick back, smoke a bowl or roll a J or something like that, and come chill with us. Just chilling. Yeah, no gaming tonight. I kind of hurt my wrist. I really need to get a wrist pad support thing for my keyboard. I was using a sock, and I guess it just wasn't good enough. I was playing a bunch of that Weed Shop sim game, which, by the way, next time we play that, there's like a bunch of commands that y'all can use to interact with my stream, like that, with actually interact with the game. So I listed them all in gaming. Let me see what are some of them. Let me pull it up. Oh, Zach posted something. Oh, the governor replied. What? Or is this something different? Oh no, it is the government. The government office said Maine was issued a notice that the U.S. Department of Education was directed to investigate the state for alleged Title IX violations. Washington, D.C., USA. Governor Janet Mills and President Donald Trump went head-to-head Friday during a governor's meeting at the White House over Maine's compliance to a recent executive order. The president sought out Mills from the podium, asking if Maine would comply with his executive order banning transgender athletes from competing in girls' and women's sport. That's not what he said. He said men competing in women's sport. Let's fucking not buffer and cushion what this orange Cheeto says, right? Let's fucking, when he says something horrible and shocking, quote him. Quote him on it. Quote him on it. Put the fucking quotations on there. Okay. During the meeting, Trump said, are you going to comply? Mills responded saying, we are complying with state and federal laws. Trump responded, well, we are federal law. President again threatened to withhold federal funding from Maine until it complied. See you in court, Mills responded. Trump then said he looked forward to the legal action, saying it should be a real easy one, and followed up by saying to Mills that he does not think that she will be in elected politics after her term as governor. Mills' terms out in 2026. Several hours later, federal officials issued a notice stating that they were directed to investigate the state over alleged Title IX violations over its interpretation of gender discrimination. Mills released the following statement in response to the U.S. Department of Education notifying the Maine Department of Education about the investigation. Mills' statement in full. Sick of some fucking pop up. Hell yeah, I'm proud of her. Oh, let's see what some of y'all are saying. Yeah, let me know, Zach, what you got, and I might get it, because I'm in the market for something. Yeah, I saw it. It was a ridiculous video. I posted it. Yep, that is Emerson's governor. That's why I tagged them. Okay, where was I? Okay, Mills' statement in full. I have spent my career as district attorney, as attorney general, and now as governor, standing up for the rule of law in Maine and America. To me, that is fundamentally what it is at stake here, the rule of law in our country. No president, Republican or Democrat, can withhold federal funding authorized and appropriated by Congress and paid for by the Maine taxpayers in an attempt to coerce some into compliance with his will. It is a violation of our Constitution and of our laws, which I took an oath to uphold. Maine may one of the first states to undergo an investigation by his administration, but we won't be the last. Today, the President of the United States has targeted one particular group on one particular issue, which Maine law has addressed, but you must ask yourself who and what will he target next, and what will he do? Will it be you? Will it be because of your race or your religion? Will it be because you look different and think differently? Absolutely it will. Where does it end? In America, the president is neither a king nor a dictator, as much as this one tries to act like it, and it is the rule of law that prevents him from being so. I imagine that the outcome of this politically directed investigation is all but predetermined. My administration will begin work with the Attorney General to defend the interests of Maine people in the court of law, but do not be misled. This is not just about who can compete on the athletic field. This is about whether a president can force compliance with his will without regard to the rule of law that governs our nation. I believe he cannot. Well, I believe he can do whatever the fuck he wants, and that's a problem. That is the problem. These people think that, oh, he can't do it. Oh, he can't. Motherfucker, he is doing it. And it's time that you fucking stop him from doing it. That's what's up. Okay. No, he can't get in trouble on camera anymore. Like, he literally fucking, like he said, murdered somebody on film, and it wouldn't fucking matter. You need to understand, we are essentially in a North Korean dictatorship, almost. Like, we're on the way to it. We're getting there right now. Oh, that's just what life, bummer. Phoenix, so good to see you. It's okay. I usually get up late too. I'm actually on a normal schedule for once. I know, shocking. But back to what was I saying? Gaming. My goddamn ADHD. Yes. So, some commands. Do what now? Displays a list of available commands. So we'll need to have that one for y'all to look at. Assign a user a particular character. User custom name. Rename a particular character. Removes the character's name. My name is. Change the customer name if assigned to that customer. Get high. Gets the player high. Say displays messages above the assigned customer's head. Jump makes the player jump. Bounce makes beach balls bounce. Hold my dolo. Drops dolos on the player. Requires amount after X hashtag hold my dildo 50. Make it change weather. Yeah, and you can requires players stand on the group of butterflies across the boardwalk from the shop. Interesting. Pop off fireworks display. Yes, I did. I did link it. Assign random. Assigns user a random character. Pull up. Spawns the Twitch viewer as a thief who attempts to shoplift merch. Player needs to be inside the shop before disabled. Should be active 10-minute cooldown per user and 5-minute cooldown for the shop after 3 uses. Boost. Causes the RC car to receive a speed boost. Sweet. Break. Causes the RC car to slow down. Repair. Repairs RC car. Guys, y'all gotta save me on that. Get speed boost to players from running 1 speed. That'll be nice when, like, I'm getting chased. Y'all can fucking, like, help me with that shit. Oh my god, a 5-team watch streak. Let's go. Woo! Awesome. Thank you so much. Also, how are you doing? We're just kind of catching up on stuff, just kicking back, chill, just chatting stream. Oh, well, I say chill. I'm going to get rowdy sometime for sure. We're going to be talking about, you know, some stuff that probably needs to be talked about. It's not just going to be doom or black pill shit. I want to say that right up front. I do have plans. There are things that we can do. I know it feels hopeless going against a system this big. There are things that we can definitely do. Some things I can talk about here, some things I can't talk about here. But that's what Discord's for. Exclamation social. They haven't censored us yet, so let's talk while we can. Kind of another reason I'm doing this, right? Like, I don't know how long we're going to be able to do this sort of thing. I think it's very clear that a coup has occurred, that we are in the midst of an autocracy, if not a kleptocracy. And if y'all aren't aware of what that is or what that means, an autocracy is something kind of like Russia, where...
You guys have a prime, slap that prime on the table like a big fucking cock. Show everybody that you have a big fucking dick today and slap that prime on the fucking table right now.
Thank you so much, Shelly Bean, for that subscribe. For 19 months. And it... Oh, 19 months. That's awesome. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. I thought it was a Prime for a second, but then I'm like, wait a second. No, we share Prime, and I used Prime yesterday. With Coral, but yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. 19 months. Wow. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Censorship. Russia. Oh, autocracy. I was talking about autocracies. Yeah. So autocracy is like, yeah, we're basically a Russian satellite state. So an autocracy is where, you know, it's like fake elections, predetermined court law, trials, verdicts, total control of the government and every aspect of it. You know, and we also have a kind of an we have an oligarchy going on, especially with Trump. I mean, even his fucking child sits there and leans over. And children at that age don't have cognitive abilities to really understand really what's going on. They just parrot what they hear from their parents and in their parents' circles. Later, Zach. Take care. Appreciate you coming in. So, you know, this little kid leans in, Grimes' child actually, and says, you need to go. And that's because he's not the president. He's a Manchurian candidate. I don't know if y'all seen that, but basically, our country, well, first of all, our country's dead. And I'm saying that right here. I don't give a fuck what results that means for me. America is dead. America is no longer, our money may say it, but we no longer have a country. The American experiment on democracy has ended, right? It's over. We had 150 years. That's about average. Even they say this argument. Even they're saying it's over, guys. It's over. Do you understand? Our country is over. So anything that you thought that we had protection-wise, rules, laws, all that shit, I'm not trying to freak you out, but that doesn't mean shit. And they're slowly going to erode away our rights over the coming decades. Yes, I said fucking decades. If we don't stand up now to do something, then we're going to not be able to do anything. fun song to remember this next 4 years is if he can drive you to do crime, then he's a Fed. Clap 2 times. If he can drive you to do crime, then he's a Fed. He clap 2 times. If you can't get there without him and you don't know much about him, oh, if he can drive you to do crime, then he's a Fed. Clap 2 times. Nice. Let's see if we can pull that song up. See if we can find it. What's the title of the song? I was playing a narco-communist songs. Start of the stream. Pull up YouTube. Actually, if I think I can pull up YouTube here in OBS and we can all watch it. Well, that doesn't really help me. Well, it's okay. We probably need to pull up pull it up anyway. How did I do this? I'm trying to remember. Okay, so you go there. Oh my god, I haven't done this in so long, I forgot. I think I need to add another one because I deleted it. So you need to add. Oh fuck, I'm gonna look it up. I'm not gonna be stupid. Fuck it up on stream. It sounds like a protest chant, so it may not be on traditional media outlets. Okay, how to view YouTube on Twitch OBS. Okay, Twitch icon to give Restream access to your Twitch account. Wait, no, wait, what? Click YouTube icon, select between your channel. What? Open OBS settings, here we go. The stream tab, okay. Settings. Stream tab. Service drop down menu, select YouTube. Service drop down. Service. It's not working. Maybe YouTube needs to be open. Let's try that again. No worries, Phoenix. It's all good. Oh no, it's not working. Let's see if there's another way to do it. It didn't work. Done this before. And none of these ways are showing her how I did it, so it's really confusing me. I don't think I have a Restream account. Click on the YouTube icon, to your channel or an event, and log in to give Restream access to your channel. Let's see. Sorry, y'all. I have done this, but I can't remember how I did it. This is annoying. Connected apps. Okay, maybe. Oh no, I don't see Twitch on here though. No, or is it Restream? No, is Restream on here? No. Man, this is annoying. Does anyone know how to do it? It's not working the way that it says it does. Okay. Maybe I just go for the way that I fucking did it last time from memory. So if I remember correctly, it was like browser source. And then under I put the YouTube URL. Yeah, I think this is how we do it. This is how we're going to do it. Yeah. This is how we're going to do it. Okay. Cool. Also, if anyone has any good videos that they want to share and we can watch, go ahead and post them. Big dogs seem fun for like renting. I don't know if I'd want to take care of a big dog though. Okie dokie. Mm-hmm. We could watch Steve Shivs. I know he's got good videos. He might have something good to say. Let's see what he's got going on. Yeah, let's see if this works. I think it'll work. I have faith. I believe.
So just
It works.
So just in case you missed it, here is what Donald Trump, the President of the United States, posted on Truth Social, his knockoff Twitter social media site, the other day about Russia and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and the war in Ukraine. Think of it. A modestly successful comedian, Volodymyr Zelensky, talked the United States of America into spending $350 billion to go into a war that couldn't be won, that never had to start, but a war that he, without the US and Trump, will never be able to settle. The United States has spent $200 billion more than Europe, and Europe's money is guaranteed, while the United States will get nothing back. Why didn't sleepy Joe Biden demand equalization, in that this war is far more important to Europe than it is to us? We have a big, beautiful ocean as separation. On top of this, Zelensky admits that half of the money we sent him is missing. He refuses to have elections.
But I don't think a Great Dane would take out a small child.
And the only thing he was
Like,
good
they're pretty
at
nice
was
dogs,
playing
aren't they?
Biden like a fiddle. A dictator.
Aren't like a lot of the
without
bigger
elections.
dogs nice dogs until they're
Zelensky
not?
better move fast,
Like
or he is not
wolfhounds?
going to have a country left. In the meantime, we are successfully negotiating an end to the war with Russia, something all admit only Trump and the Trump administration can do.
And he's
Biden
negotiating.
never tried.
He's negotiating an end without Zelensky. Basically, what this is like Zach was saying. It's Russia and America dividing up the bits of Europe, right? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we see in the not near to future a situation where it's NATO versus like Russia and America. Meanwhile, China's over there taking advantage of the chaos and invading Taiwan, which they're probably going to do in 2 years anyway, regardless.
Europe has failed to bring peace, and Zelensky probably wants to keep the gravy train going. I love Ukraine, but Zelensky has done a terrible job. His country is shattered, and millions have unnecessarily died. And so it continues. Think of it. A modestly successful real estate developer and reality TV show host and complete failure of a casino operator talked the United States of America into electing him president of the United States. And what about the end of this where he says,
Oh, I see
his
what you're
country
saying.
is shattered and millions have unnecessarily died. Are you sure you're talking about Ukraine there, Donald? This is a continuation of Trump's decades-long preoccupation with trying to convince everybody that he's the master of the deal, right? That was the title of his book, his best-selling book that sold more copies than the Bible. Ask Trump, he'll tell you. The art of the deal. Who better than Donald Trump to explain the art of the
Yeah, I saw your
deal?
makeup
It's his
job. That was
entire
quite a
the
job.
thing about Trump
That was
and
something.
deal making is not only is he manifestly terrible at it, and if you ask most people other than him and people who are in his cult or compromised or indebted to him in some
Yeah, his like business tactics are really terrible, right? Like he comes in and you see him doing it and shit like with like um other countries and you know more recently with Canada, where he makes these ridiculous claims, these outlandish claims to like throw people off and put them back on their heels, and then they're like he thinks these are all clever business tactics, but really like all it ends up serving to do is like inflate his ego and piss off other people. It's like you said, he's not a good businessman.
Way they'll tell you, actually, he's really, really shitty at negotiations and making deals. Like, he's fucking horrible at it. Not only that, not only does he have that track record, but if you listen to things he has said about negotiating and deal making in the past, and you actually pay attention to things he has done and the ways in which he has conducted himself during deal making throughout his life, both as a business person and as a politician, you see that his fundamental concept of and approach to deal making is deeply flawed and toxic and counterproductive.
Absolutely. Like the whole them interfering with the election, which is a confirmed thing, right? This isn't speculation, guys. This is confirmed shit from the fucking federal government, from multiple investigative agencies. All right. This is why I call him the Manchurian candidate, because he is, and you know, we are a puppet state. Like he very much did work with the Russians, no doubt, to try and interfere with the last election. And I wouldn't be surprised if, I don't know how much they were able to do this election. The North Koreans probably did some more shit on the hacker front. They've been like really stepping it up there. And the Elon Musk, though, probably did more to rig this election this year. And honestly, that's another thing I want to talk about is I think a reason why a lot of the Democrats and people aren't calling out the fact that this election was rigged and stolen, which we have clear fucking evidence of, and you'll never hear anything about that, is because they don't want to sound just like the Democrats did, right? They're like, well, we're gonna do the respectful thing. We're gonna honor this. We're gonna, you know, guys, that game that y'all are playing with your like respect and your cordiality, they're not playing that game anymore that you're playing, right? They're not playing by those same rules. You're playing by the rules, and they're over here cheating, playing different games, flipping the fucking table, and these motherfuckers are clueless, and they're just like, well, our hands are tied. Well, can't do anything within the framework. And I don't know why anyone is surprised, because I stopped voting for these fucks a long time ago. I knew that these bitches were only in it for the status quo. They were only in it for themselves. Any hierarchical government is doomed to fail like this. Any system within a capitalistic environment is doomed to fail like this.
Donald Trump views deal making as a strict binary 0-1 black white win lose proposition. You enter into a negotiation and you are either going to win or you are going to lose. And to Donald Trump, there is no such thing as a deal where everybody comes out better than they went in, where there's a compromise that can be reached, where all parties of the deal can leave with something and be satisfied. That doesn't exist for him. It's got to be a winner and a loser. And his idea of a good deal is not what I was just describing, some kind of deal where everybody gets the best out of the negotiation that they possibly can. To Donald Trump, a good deal is when he bullies and threatens and forces the other side to accept terms that benefit Donald Trump, that the other side doesn't want to accept but feel like they have no choice but to accept. That's a good deal to Donald Trump.
And you know what? This is not just a good deal to Donald Trump. And this is like where this type of mindset comes from. This comes from the extreme end stage capitalism dystopian mindset, right? And I think we see this a lot with Walmart, okay? A good example is Rubbermaid in Walmart. Rubbermaid was forced out of business and forced to go bankrupt because they had been doing business with Walmart. Walmart insists these incredibly ridiculously low prices, and they don't spring them on people until these companies are already making a large portion of, like, I'm talking like 80%. I think in the case of Rubbermaid, it was like 75, 80%. It was huge. Don't quote me on those numbers. It could be wrong, but it is a big fucking number. It was like they're like, if they lost Walmart as a client, then they would go out of business. And that's what happened. They declared bankruptcy because Walmart came to them and said, they're like, we want you to make it at this unit price. And Rubbermaid was like, that's below our cost. Like, we'll actually be losing money. And they're like, well, we don't fucking care. Do it or we drop you. And so they're like, well, you wouldn't actually do that, would you? Like, you can't actually ask us to do this, would you? And they're like, yeah, we're dead ass serious. And Rubbermaid called her bluff, and fucking Walmart fucking called it and dropped them, went with some Chinese knockoff, and fucking now Rubbermaid had to declare bankruptcy. And that's one case of many with just one fucking mega corporation, okay? Our country now is ruled by several mega corporations.
Trump. And everybody knows that. That's the thing. Everybody in the entire world knows that that's the kind of guy Donald Trump is, that that's what he is after when he goes into a negotiation. That's his reputation, and it very much precedes him, largely through his own doing. So how is this guy with this well-known attitude toward deal-making supposed to enter any kind of negotiation with the perception that he's entering it in good faith? It just doesn't make any sense. It's like going to a car dealership to buy a car, and the car salesman comes up to you and says, hey, I just want to let you know, you're buying this car today from me, and I am going to try everything I know to fuck you over as hard as I can in this deal. And I'm going to get you to pay more than you want to pay. And I'm going to get you to take home less than you wanted to take home. You are going to leave here with a more expensive, not as nice car as you came in here wanting to buy. And fuck you. I'm going to beat you in these negotiations. Is that a good salesman?
It's the competitive mindset taken to the nth degree.
Donald Trump's sales pitch, as it were, to the American people, but especially to the rest of the world on behalf of the United States. The gravy train's over, folks. Even he said gravy train in that tweet to or that tweet about Zelensky. The gravy train is over. All you other freeloader countries, all you other parasite countries that have been taking advantage of the United States for all these years. You've been eating free lunch on the United States' dime. Well, guess what, motherfuckers? From now on, we're changing the menu. And the only thing on the menu is a shit sandwich. And you're going to pay for it. And you're going to eat it.
Yep.
And you're going to like it. That's how Donald Trump talks about other countries, including our closest allies and our most reliable trading partners.
Yeah,
That's how he
what do you
talks
call the
to
countries
these
in
people.
Africa? Like pieces of shit countries or shit-o countries or something? He's
Another
such a
flaw
motherfucker,
in this
dude.
illusion that Trump is the master deal.
I mean, how long has fucking...
This is behavior that he himself has...
How long has fucking at the continent of Africa been fucking raped and pillaged by colonists? Still is, dude. How many people fucking die because of illegal fucking mining because they don't have a good way of living? Either due to mine collapses or due to mercury exposure. At least some miners are fucking, I gotta give them credit, at least some miners are going down there and fucking bringing proper decent mining equipment so they don't have to be using amalgam mercuries and cyanides and shit. Burning tires and awful crap.
Talked about on occasion and has demonstrated through his actions over and over again, he doesn't even really care about whether or not he gets a good deal for his side or not. Because if he doesn't get the deal he wants, he'll just lie and say that he did. If he loses,
Truth.
He'll claim victory.
Yep.
So it really doesn't make any difference. How many times
That's tea.
has he told
That's fucking
that
tea.
kind of a lie in public? When he was running for
All
president,
on
I think it was
film.
when he was running for president the first time in 2016, might even
But these
have been
motherfuckers
during
never
the
see that
Republican
shit.
primaries. he said,
They never
"Oh,
see that shit.
People sue me all the
Say,
time.
"Oh,
I'm
watch the
always
media
involved in
that they
lawsuits,
can-
but I
it's controlled
never
by the
settle
Murdochs and
lawsuits."
shit.
Lie. He settles lawsuits all the time. I always fight. I always go to court, and I always win. Lie. He loses lawsuits a lot. He loses in court in general, whether it's a civil action or a criminal one. He loses a lot because not only is he a criminal and a fraud, but he's really bad at it. He's an incompetent criminal and fraud.
Yeah,
And
he's-
it's usually
he's kinda
pretty obvious
stupid.
that, yeah, he did the shit he's being accused of doing. But it doesn't matter to him. He'll just come out and say, I won! Victory! We got the deal, right? He did that just recently with Canada and Mexico.
Yep.
Threatening Canada and Mexico, our neighbors, the only two countries that we
To
share
basically have
land
them
borders
resend. He
with.
pissed them off to have them
And
resend
he
an
threatened
email.
them with tariffs over imaginary bullshit stuff. With Mexico, it was the continued harping and exaggerating and overblowing of the immigration thing. With Canada, it was also the immigration thing and also fentanyl, which is not.
But not only that, here's the deal. Trudeau and Canada had already fucking made all of these fucking like guarantees and promises and stuff very like 2 weeks prior even. It wasn't even that long ago. Like, this is just fucking insanity, dude. Like, all virtues, all signaling, all just bullshit and lies.
Remotely a problem coming from Canada, but that's what he said. And then after he threatened them with tariffs, like the next day, he came out and said, actually, we're not going to do the tariffs. We're going to pause the tariffs because I got concessions from Canada and Mexico. They folded, they caved because I'm Donald Trump. I'm the master deal maker. I'm the great negotiator. And the president of Mexico agreed to deploy additional Mexican troops to the border to help us police the border from the Mexican side. And Canada agreed to crack down on fentanyl crossing the border. And then you read into it a little bit. You do 30 seconds of research and you find that the supposed concession he got from Mexico was the exact same thing Mexico agreed to do in collaboration with President Biden a few years ago. And the Canadian so-called concession that he won as a result of his master negotiating skills was something that the Canadian government had already pledged to do back in December before he threatened them with tariffs and supposedly extracted this great deal. But he claimed victory anyway. He just lies. If he doesn't get the deal he wants, he doesn't get the outcome he wants, he just lies and says he did get it. And for his supporters, or at least for a large enough number of his supporters, that's good enough. But here's something I have noticed about this Ukraine and Russia thing, is that there have been tiny little cracks forming. There have been at least the initial appearances of some waning enthusiasm for Trump among congressional Republicans. Not very much, and not the sort of thing that you would necessarily expect that it's going to go anywhere or last very long. But I did see that Republican senators like Thune and Hawley and Kennedy have spoken to the media in recent days and have contradicted Trump's description of Zelensky as a dictator and have said that any negotiation to end the war in Ukraine needs to include Ukraine because it's just absurd to even suggest that, oh, the United States and Russia are going to negotiate an end to the war in Ukraine and Ukraine's not invited, right? There are even Republican senators who have been doing nothing but kiss Trump's ass for years have felt the need to come out and say, no, we need to have Ukraine present at the negotiations when we're trying to figure out how to end the war that started when Russia invaded their country. They need to be at the table for this. And Senator Kennedy, who is absolutely fucking worthless, who is in a chamber filled with worthless, awful, contemptible Republicans. He is near the top of the list, just an absolutely useless senator. He went out of his way to say that not only was Trump that not only did he contradict some of the other things that Trump said about Zelensky and the war in Ukraine, he said Vladimir Putin is a gangster. Let's not forget, Vladimir Putin is a gangster. And this is the guy that Trump is befriending and sucking up to and choosing to ally himself with instead of Volodymyr Zelensky. So there are some cracks forming. Now, again, do I think that it's going to go anywhere? I don't know. Probably not. But it's not just those Republican senators and a few others who have been making these noises that sound, if you tilt your head and you cup your hand to your ear, it sounds a little bit like disagreement with Trump, right? It's not just them. It's also Mark Levin. And this has been the most surprising to me because his objection and his sort of rebuke to Trump's comments about Zelensky and Ukraine was the most detailed, the most unapologetic. And it still isn't right to call it an attack on Trump. It's an attack on Trump very indirectly, and almost apologetic when he gets close to actually directly addressing Trump, which he never does. But when he gets close to it, he adopts kind of a more apologetic tone. But apart from that, he goes into a lot of detail, correcting a lot of the factual inaccuracies and mischaracterizations that Trump makes about Zelensky and Ukraine in that Truth Social post. And for those of you who don't know who I'm talking about, Mark Levin is a conservative radio host and a Fox News host. He's like a Hannity study. So that's how far down the pecking order we're going here with Mark Levin. He's not even Hannity level. He's like sub-Hannity. He's the guy who comes on after Hannity on the radio, right? But he's been around for years. I've mentioned him in videos a time or two over the years. He's not a major figure, but he's a major enough figure.
I had to look him up. I didn't know who he was.
Audience. And he's been invited to the White House before, and he's interviewed Trump before. And he's
but the fact that he's about like facts and shit makes me wonder if he's like autistic.
A Fox News contributor. And he is like the rest of these guys. He's a fucking goon. He himself is not a reliable source or a...
Well, I'll tell you too, like the other thing going on with the advent of AI and the increase of social media and hyper polarization and echo chambers becoming so prolific is that what is empirical truth is going to be harder and harder to determine.
A good person to turn to, or someone that we should either be seeking out or expecting as an ally for our side. He's not a good guy at all. But he did say this on his radio show the other day about Donald Trump and his comments about Volodymyr Zelensky. And I'm not going to play you the audio. I'm going to spare you having to listen to Mark Levin's voice. And if you've ever heard Mark Levin's voice, you'll understand the gift I'm giving you right now. I'm just going to read you a transcript of what Mark Levin said on his radio show. And this was transcribed by the website Joe My God. And it was also reported by Mediaite. So this is what Mark Levin said on his radio show the other day. I don't have a problem if it's the position of our administration to cut back on support for Ukraine, which I oppose, by the way. Then so be it. Elections have consequences, so be it. But I want to make sure the facts are on the table, and you, the American people, draw your own conclusion. MAGA doesn't support Putin. I want to stop right there. Are you sure about that, Mark? I mean, maybe you don't support Putin, and if you don't, good for you. But are you sure that MAGA doesn't support Putin?
Right. Like, look on your own network, bro. On your own network. Look at the other hosts who go to Russia and have all these talks and all this other bullshit. You know, like, if you want to see a good video about it, our boy Roman right here, No Fuckers Bangers, go check him out. He had to flee Russia, and he's living in Portugal now. He went to Georgia at first, but then his visa ran out, and he had to go to Portugal. But he made a really good video talking about it, and I would highly suggest go checking him out.
To think so, but I wouldn't bet too much money on that. I'm just saying. Zelensky ordered martial law. That's what the Constitution there compelled. Zelensky hasn't called for an election. That's what the Constitution there compels. Now, I'm waiting for the first free election for Vladimir Putin. I mean, This is almost comical in a sick way, that Putin is demanding an election. Why is he demanding an election in Ukraine when he doesn't have free and real elections in his own country? And why does he get to call the shots when, in fact, he murders people who dare to challenge him?
And you can see Trump echoing these same statements, right? And that's what they're doing. They're just echoing whatever the Kremlin wants him to say. And the reason why they're wanting to do this calling for elections bullshit is because they know that they can use that as an excuse to frame Zelensky as a dictator, right? When in reality, almost all men of fucking voting age are on the front lines. It's very hard to hold an election when your country's being invaded and bombarded by hundreds of rockets every day, right? Even motherfuckers like Ben Shapiro understand this and has said that, right? You know shit's bad when fucking Ben Shapiro's like, actually.
This is what we're dealing with.
And it makes sense.
Old KGB, and not just KGB, Putin, was in like Flint.
I hate to agree with him, but a broken clock is right even twice a day.
So I don't know why there are people that not only oppose Zelensky, but seem to support Putin. Again, just to pause real quick, do you really not know, Mark? Like, do you really not know why people, and I believe he's indirectly referring to Trump there, really not know why there are people, including the President of the United States, Donald Trump, who support Putin instead of Zelensky? Is that really a mystery? Come on. Come on. You're being refreshingly honest in a lot of this. The point about how dare they call for Zelensky to hold elections when they're carrying water for Putin, who never has elections in Russia, like pointing out that hypocrisy? Good point. Great point. But let's hold on.
He has elections, but they're rigged.
Let's keep pushing in
They
that
don't even hide their
direction.
ballot stuff.
Let's not undermine that by then pretending that you don't understand why Donald Trump and others on your side would support Vladimir Putin instead of Zelensky. Come on. The parliament, with all parties in the parliament, support what he's doing. They're trying to survive. Ukraine did not invade Russia. Russia invaded Ukraine. But the idea that Ukraine must hold elections in violation of its own constitution as a condition for peace, or that Ukraine must give up more territory as a condition for peace, you have to understand the Ukrainian people don't want to do that. That's why Zelensky is at 57% approval rating, higher than most politicians in our own
He said it was
country.
like Trump said it was
That was from
4.
Mark Levin on his
Fucking
radio show
ridiculous.
the other day. And
Just makes up numbers,
he is
man.
obviously not broken with Trump permanently on this. If he meant to make a break with Trump over this, definitively he would have mentioned Trump's name during that, even though a lot of it was clearly directed at Trump or in response to things that
He's
Trump
afraid.
said. He would have mentioned
He's
Trump
afraid
by
like a
name.
lot of
He would have
people.
called him out. He would have said who he was correcting when he was correcting all those lies that Trump
That's
told
not
about Ukraine
hyperbole.
and
This
Zelensky.
is direct quotes from people
So
on the
Levin
right.
hasn't broken with Trump.
Said they are afraid for
He's
themselves and their
still a
families.
dishonest hack and a grifter. This is a guy, Mark Levin, who, when Barack Obama was president, Levin would routinely describe Barack Obama as a Stalinist, not a communist, like many people on the right called Obama, not even a Marxist, like many other people on the right also called Obama, specifically a Stalinist. And he said this over and over again on his radio show, did Mark Levin. Barack Obama and his administration, they were Stalinists. So Mark Levin is a dipshit.
Yeah, so where the fuck is the mass starvation? Where the fuck are the gulags? Where's the authoritarianism? Where's the rigged courts? None of that shit happened during Obama. All these motherfuckers bitch and whine about all this stuff. And I heard this fucking Georgia senator today talking about how, like, oh, well, I heard these fucking January 6th fuckers, like, saying the same thing, you know, when Joe Biden was president. Yeah, but fucking one of us was telling the truth. One of us was actually, like, there was shit was real, and the other one was delusional and fucking making shit up.
And a grifter and a hack. And he knows that his audience is full of ride or dies for Trump, and he's not going to say anything too anti-Trump because he doesn't want to run off his audience and take money out of his own pocket any more than Hannity would. or Ben Shapiro would, or Tucker Carlson, or fucking Gutfeld.
Carlson, he's the one that went to Russia and was sucking Putin's cock in the internet.
He's being as brave and as honest as he feels he can get away with being. But even so, when you're Donald Trump and you've lost the support of a shameless right-wing demagogue like Mark Levin, even if it is just on a single issue, that's a sign that you have overreached yourself. Trump's reckless, reprehensible betrayal of Volodymyr Zelensky and his embrace of Putin threatens obviously the people of Ukraine and the whole of Europe. And it's so indefensible that finally even some Republicans are starting to kind of push back against it.
And even Republican media.
Although they're also careful to try
They're
and
very
offset
careful.
their criticisms of Trump with a generous portion of groveling too. Like all those senators I mentioned who
Me sucking that fucking Cheetos cock. Bunch of motherfuckers be walking around with orange all around
Trump
them.
has said about Ukraine. They made sure to immediately follow that up by saying, but I think the president's the right man for the job, and I think the president wants to end the war, and I'm totally in support of that, and I just think he's doing a really good job, and we need to trust him and let him do his thing. Like, so I'm not trying to give him too much credit here. Maybe if this continues, if Trump doesn't make any kinds of changes to this, and he goes on insisting that we need to be in lockstep with Putin and we need to decide the fate of Ukraine without allowing the government and the people and the president of Ukraine to have any say in it. Maybe if this continues, those cracks in the foundation, those cracks in the unity of the Republican Party can widen a bit, and Democrats in Congress or somebody can take advantage of
This
that.
guy's
can
so
exploit
liberal.
That Republican disharmony and prevent
He
Trump
still
from
believes
doing
in the
too much
Democrats.
damage. But that's probably wishful thinking on my part.
You're damn right it is, bitch.
As long as he's the president, Donald Trump will continue to behave this way.
He's not president anymore, bro. He's king. They've said as much.
And the rest of Europe and the rest of the world should be grateful that he's here. Should be grateful that he's on the scene to fix everything.
He is literally going to be the death of humanity. And let me tell you what. We were already probably not going to be able to make the Paris Climate Agreement a carbon net neutral by whenever the hell it was. We are already, if we became net zero right now, looking at 7 generations of fucking climate change. Now it's probably unavoidable unless a revolution happens, guys. This is not just America. This is not just our lives. This is literally the fate of humanity forever. This will kill us all. This is an extinction level event, and it will not take long, people, okay? And this is not hyperbole once again. If you go and look on NOAA's website, I think Zach posted about this. NOAA website has already, let's see, I don't want to misquote. Here it is. NOAA scientists refuse to link warming weather to climate change. In a monthly reporting call on global climate, researchers from the U.S. government's Climate and Weather Agency avoided mentioning rising levels of greenhouse gases.
He can. Because he's the great deal maker, right? He's convinced himself of that.
No, you're right, Mo.
He's spent his entire public life stretching
on
back
all counts,
decades and decades, trying desperately.
People still think we're being dramatic. They still think that.
He's the deal master. That's who he is. That's who he wants you to think he is. He's the art of the deal guy.
Our friends and family still think I'm exaggerating. They're not even paying attention to all the news that's happening.
For Ukraine.
Even my family therapist is just now getting inklings of stuff when famous trans women are getting attacked.
But to quote a man who Trump would undoubtedly dismiss as a DEI hire, this deal is getting worse all the time.
Yeah. Lovely.
We have to dive straight into our main story
Wait,
tonight.
why
The
is
fact
that playing?
Donald Trump is once again President of the United States. Sorry if this is how you found out. Honestly, I'm not nuts about it either.
Hold on, let me pause this.
Incredibly, it has been less than a month since Trump's inauguration, but it already feels like an eternity. In just the past...
I do not have autoplay on mine YouTube, so I'm not used to that happening. All right, YouTube, chill the fuck out. This video looks really cool. Yeah, I don't want to be right either, but I'm typically right when it comes to these things, probably due to autism and trauma, CPTSD, and pattern recognition. Anyway, I don't know if y'all watch How to Drink. He just released a video called Trying Cocktails from the USSR. That looks really cool. Probably not going to watch it because it's like 40 minutes long, but, you know, just thought I'd throw that out there. Let's see. I've been streaming for an hour now. I need to go get something to drink and use the restroom, and I'll be right back. So let's get the music back on. Actually, let's see. What can we put on? Some good music. Let's see. Ooh, French music is. Okay, y'all, we'll be back in just a minute.
Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. Ni le bien qu'on m'a fait, ni le mal, tout ça m'est bien égal. Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. C'est payé, balayé, oublié. Je me fous du passé. Avec mes souvenirs, j'ai allumé le feu. Mes chagrins, mes plaisirs, je n'ai plus besoin de balayer les amours avec leur trémolo, balayer pour toujours. Je repars à zéro. Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. Ni le bien qu'on m'a fait, ni le mal, tout ça m'est bien égal. Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. Car ma vie, car mes joies, aujourd'hui, ça commence avec toi. що ти відчув, що я закрут від істерики. Палаю, але мовчу, а в животі метелики. Мені тебе так мало, мало, мало. Я трохи політала, потім впала. Сама все зрозуміти мала. Та серце дівоче шепоче. Мені тебе так мало, мало, мало. Дивився ти, а
How's it going, y'all? How's everybody feeling, by the way? I know that was kind of heavy. And that was just mostly talking about Ukraine and not even about everything going on. But I just kind of want to check in with y'all. Yon's here. Yon is forward. He came to give me some love. Good boy. He's a good boy. He's such a good boy. Yeah. You're such a good boy.
я так шукаю причину, щоб побачитись хоч би на мить. Ой, повільно спливають хвилини,
So sweet. He's so empathetic, that baby.
мовчить. Хочу, щоб ти
Any counseling today? Aw, that's good. It's cute.
горда, але тремчу. Важко стриматись на межі. Мені тебе
If the subject gets too much for y'all or it gets too intense, feel free to lurk, feel free to bounce if you have to. I don't know how much more heavy shit we're gonna cover. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like Mo and I are the only ones with like the intensity to fucking go there and keep our sanity. Which sometimes I question whether we keep our sanity. It's like diving, right? It's like diving into the madness that is the world. I think I heard someone say that like to be considered sane in an insane world just means that you're like very mentally ill, that like, and that like if you're you know, to not be like, to be mentally ill in a world that is fucking fucked up and ill is a normal thing. It's a healthy normal response. Like you know what I'm saying? Like this world is fucked, man. And like the people who think that all this shit is normal and okay are like very deluded. It's true. It kind of always has been. So, weekend. Friday night. Anyone got any big plans this weekend? Any cool activities going on? Any cool drag shows going on?
It doesn't hurt me. Do you wanna feel how it feels?
I did see that. That was hilarious. It's like, you do understand that that is not factually accurate. He's like, no, I don't understand that.
It's you and me. Falling chord, I'd make a deal with God, and I'd get him to swap places. Be running up that road, be running up that hill, be running.
So this guy on this person's post, so my friend on Facebook, somehow I have 65 mutuals with this Trump sycophant, Douglas Alford. And this guy said, the whole system is messed up. Corruption is epidemic. I am in middle trying to settle everyone down. And I said, good to know you're in the middle while systemic genocide is being committed against me and my kind. I have always been bi. Transgenders. Oh my god. Transgenders are special and walk in two worlds. Every Aztec general was transgender. It was a prerequisite for the position. You don't know my attitudes. No, I do know your attitudes because you sit there and say you stand in the fucking middle that no longer exist. You are on the side of fucking complacency and fucking like fascism, dude. So no, you just told me your attitude. My mom killed herself last summer and it left me raw. What does that have to do with the subject, bro? My dad died 2 fucking weeks ago. What does that have shit to do with the subject? Are you fucking trauma comparing with me? We don't communicate well. Technology has helped and hurt us. Hoped for the best. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself, you fucking dick. You're probably LGB. So fucking trying, dude. And like, I want to reply to that, but I'm not. I should have even said anything to begin with, right? It's just going to serve to get me even more worked up again. That fuck's not going to understand because they think that they're speaking from a position of righteousness, right? You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of these fucking like racists who sit there and bigots who sit there and say, oh, well, I got a black fucking family member. You know, my daughter's married to a black guy, so I can't be racist. Bitch, please. The fact that you had to pull that fucking card out is sus to begin with. Thank you, Destiny. I probably do need a smoke. Oh, that was a good one. Hope Ulysses is around to hear that. Ow! How did that go in my eye? I had that bitch sealed. What the fuck? Right? I want to show you all the music video for this. Mo might cry though if they hear the song.
Jellyfish Lighting is a color-changing outdoor lighting system that's permanently installed along the edge of your home.
Don't be proud of your money as it will never satisfy you. You're already crying anyways. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so mad at the eye cancer dermatologist. I went in to have her removed. And they like totally didn't know what was going on, despite the fact that I had already told them, booked it, planned it, sent them everything, fucking sign off and everything. Dude, I got so mad. I was yelling at that girl. And now my eyes like burning every now and then. It sucks, dude. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get the eye drops. This fucking hurts. Oh shit, I maxed out my mic with that one. What is that an icon of? I can't tell. Or an emote of. I don't know what that is. What is it? Oh, it's, well, I saw the one with the hug. Is that it? I don't have my glasses on, sorry. It's like a gray thing. Like a gray circle with like lines on one side. Oh, both are hugs? Oh, okay. Fuck, it hurts. I'm worried it's gonna get into my eye muscles. Because they like schedule it for another 3 months out, and God forbid fucking Medicare gets canceled by then. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to just get really fucking drunk and have someone cut it out. I could buy some fucking pain-killing drugs or some shit. I don't know, dude. Yeah, what's up? I think we'll get taken off. What do you mean? What do you mean we're gonna get taken off? The song request for next? Oh, my cancer got you. Yeah, you got a song request? Go for it. Music and Discord, got you. Also, looks like we got more stuff on political to look at. Oh no, we already read that. That's in general. Emerson posted. Okay. I'll have to show y'all after Destiny's song, the fucking the Cypress Hill song that somehow came out and I missed it. It's fucking awesome. I love it. Played it like 4 times in a row yesterday.
At Mr. Rooter Plumbing, we give you a range of quality options, so you can choose what's right for you.
Oh, that one didn't quite break the compressor, so not as good.
Some said never, but they never done come. Yeah, and took our trust. It's been winning, but the lovers ain't done. Yeah, not on my watch. Took all my rights away. Telling me how to pray. Won't let us demonstrate. Wrong. Thinking I don't belong. Hiding behind a gun. Hoping we're gonna run. Wrong. We are the lions. We are the chosen. We're gonna shine out the dark. We are the movement. This generation. You better
Hope this generation stands up.
who we are. Who we are.
And I'm gonna say this right now, y'all.
Yeah, if I
It's gonna probably be violent. Probably required. Now I'm not calling for it. Let me make that distinction right now because I can't do that here. The police are militarized. They have been. They will not hold back. They will shoot us. They will kill us. You know how to respond to that. There are more of us than there are of them. Remember that. They are afraid of us. And then after the song, we're gonna go and do a little bit of Black History because it's still Black History Month, and I'm gonna tell you all a little bit about when the U.S. government assassinated a socialist leader and a member of the Black Panther Party who was uniting people from multiple races, and that's what fucking scared him. Across multiple races, on multiple spectrums, genders, sexualities, disabilities. That fucking terrified them. Hey, Emerson! What's up?
all of the lions will strive. Working so hard to unite. United, we tired of lies. Tired of lies. Whoa, whoa.
And guys, don't forget, not everybody's way of fighting has to be as a warrior. Not to pick up weapons, although that is probably going to be required for some people. But you will see when you see what this man did, you'll see how he fought and why it was so effective. By providing what the government denies us, we can win the people, right? By providing free closets, free food banks, free housing, free medicine, a support system so we can strike. That was a good meme. Mo was talking about that earlier. Good morning, Emerson. Hope you have an Emerson. Not Emerson. Hope you have an Emerson on hand. Hope you have a monster on hand. I hope y'all are high for this song. I don't know if Emerson has to go to work or they're off, but wake and bake? Question mark?
Man, this abracadabra really is magic.
Yo, even Mo loves Cypress Hill. And every time they've gone to a concert, they've gotten high with me. It's like, dude, you can't go to a Cypress Hill concert and not get high. Even if you're fucking like not smoking, you will get high. Oh, by the way, Emerson, I was wrong. Apparently Cypress Hill has their own brand of weed out now. You can buy their shit now. I don't know if it's the same stuff that they actually smoke personally. But... Ooh, big hugs, Emerson. I'm sorry. Probably the weather, dude. You're in danger if you keep it. Hey, Phoenix. Oh, yeah, I know you drive for a living. That's stuck. Potholes. Get ready. It's only gonna get worse. You think they're gonna keep Pete Buttigieg? They're gonna call him a DEI hire.
Yeah, and I'm just like, okay, so how does a 61-year-old guy run circles around guys like me in their mid-30s? Well, he's definitely not cheating with dangerous injections or pills. So what's his secret? I did some research and I found out some scary...
Here's what we're gonna do. Black History Month time. Okay. I'll put that under anarcho-communism. Copy this text. Pull it up here.
You can kill a revolutionary, but you can't kill the revolution. These were the words of Fred Hampton.
We don't have to watch all this because, like, it kind of repeats itself a lot, which is a little annoying.
A man whose voice shook the foundations of American power, so much so that the United States government decided he had to die. This is not a conspiracy theory.
It does.
This is a hidden part of history.
But we have to stand up and be willing to take a hit. It's almost like civil disobedience, Emerson.
In this video, we are going to expose the truth that has been rephrased to
when we do the right thing and villainous evil people abuse us for it,
in Chicago.
That is exposed. Their evil, tyrannous ways are exposed.
Shadows move outside the window.
You should be proud of her. She's a badass.
Pregnant fiancée, Deborah Johnson. The air is heavy, silent, until bam. The door crashes open. Gunfire erupts. Bullets fly all around the room like oxygen, walls shatter, and furniture splinters, and over 100 bullets were fired. The Panthers inside barely have time to react. It's not a raid, it's execution. In the chaos, Fred Hampton never even wakes up.
Exactly.
He was drugged the night before the incident,
Exactly,
leaving him
Mo.
unconscious. Yes, drugged. By whom, you may wonder? An FBI informant. 2 officers stood over his unconscious body. One checks his pulse and says, "He's still alive." The other officer raises his gun, releases another bullet, and utters, "He's good and dead now." That's exactly
That's
what
right, you
happened
had to
on a
fight
fateful
back.
day.
Damn
Here's the
right,
question.
Phoenix.
Why would the United States government, one of the most powerful entities in the world, be afraid of a 21-year-old black man from Chicago? What made Fred Hampton such a big threat that he had to be eliminated? Was it because he was violent? Was it because he was leading riots? Not.
Nope.
Fred Hampton's real crime.
That's not
was
what they're
that he was
scared of.
doing
They can handle
something
riots.
Far more dangerous in the eyes of the U.S. government.
Yep.
He was uniting black people together. Think about this. What if black people, white people, Latinos, and poor people of all backgrounds suddenly stopped fighting each other and started fighting together against the system that is keeping them down? That's exactly what Fred Hampton was doing. We're not going to fight capitalism with black capitalism. We're going to fight capitalism with socialism. He spoke of real change.
We need to
not
fight
just
with
for black
anarcho
people, but for all oppressed
communism or
people.
anarcho
He
syndicalism.
organized free breakfast programs for children while the government let them
I'm
starve.
going to be clear about that.
He created free health clinics while hospitals refused to serve the
But
poor.
this is key.
He formed the Rainbow Coalition. It was
Important.
a multiracial movement of Black Panthers, white Appalachian activists, Latino street groups, and anyone who was willing to stand against
So
oppression.
poor people.
And that's what made him a threat.
Did you catch that, guys? It's important. This is one of the reasons why the right has become so strong and we have slid into fascism, is because they have deceived poor people into believing their lies and they have swayed them to their side. Well, back to the side. All right? Because it's easy. They try and divide us by blaming black people, blaming Latinos, blaming trans people. Pick your fucking immigrant or minor or minority flavor of the week. It doesn't matter. If it works, and it does work. But this guy was a threat because he was able to get these poor Appalachians on his side, not just black people, but like they were saying, all kinds of people.
The government was not afraid of black men with guns.
No,
rather
they-
they were afraid of black men with power.
Yep.
Black men who could think, organize, educate, and unite. Let's be clear.
These are the
This was
things the
not
government is
just
afraid
a
of, y'all.
police raid gone wrong type of situation. This was a state-sanctioned murder.
Damn right it was.
The FBI, the Chicago Police Department, and the United States government conspired to silence Fred Hampton forever.
They shoot
In
his
this video,
gravestone up every
we
year,
are
the
going to
cops
show
do.
how the FBI
It's
spied
riddled with
on
bullet
and
holes.
infiltrated the Black Panther Party. How a paid informant drugged Fred Hampton the night before the raid. How the government used the media to cover up the truth, and most importantly, how this same system is still in place today. So before we move forward, ask yourself this: what kind of leader does America fear today? And what are they willing to do to stop them? Let's begin. Fred Hampton was a young, charismatic leader
Thanks
who
for
had the
lurking,
power
Emerson.
to unite the oppressed across racial lines, shake the foundations of systemic oppression, and lead a revolution that threatened the status quo of America. But on December 4th, 1969, the U.S. government made sure Fred Hampton would never see another sunrise. Fred Hampton was more than just a leader.
Oh, weird.
He was
Barks
more
with
than
like
just
the
an activist. He was
the
a force,
peppermint or
a force so powerful,
What is
so
this?
electrifying, that in just 21 short years, he became one
flavor
of the
this
most
is, but-
dangerous men in America.
It tastes
But
like
not
a
because he carried
celestial
a gun,
seasonings
not
tea.
because he called for violence, but because he was uniting people of diverse races,
Diverse
poor
races?
and working class,
or
all
working
under
class.
a common cause, revolution. And that's why the
And
United
that's
States
tea.
government
And
needed
that's
him
tea.
dead. To further grasp how a young man from the streets of Chicago became an enemy of the state, we have to go back to where it all began. Fred Hampton was born in 1948 in a segregated world that saw black people as second-class citizens, a world where Jim Crow laws still reigned, where lynchings were still prevalent, and where a black child's future was predetermined before they even learned how to walk. His parents were hard-working people from Louisiana, part of the great migration of black families escaping the South's violent racism, only to find a different kind of racism in the North. Fred grew up in Maywood, Illinois, just outside Chicago.
Yeah, racism has been all across the
neighborhood
country.
where black families lived under the
Even
constant
during the
watch of
Civil
an
War.
oppressive system. Even as
In
a
the North.
child, Fred stood out from his peers. Not just because he was smart, but he was brilliant, excelling in school and athletics. Not just because he was a leader, though his classmates already gravitated toward him.
Hair floating in my
But
nose.
because
Love
even
it.
at a young age, Fred Hampton had a deep sense of justice. He saw the way black kids were treated differently in school. He saw how the police harassed and brutalized his community. And he knew, even then, that something had to change. Growing up, he was heavily influenced by two of the most powerful voices of black liberation
Yep,
in America,
in Cincinnati.
Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. He
On the bridge.
meticulously studied their words, he understood their strategies, and he saw something that many others overlooked. These two men, despite their different approaches, were fighting the same war. The war against white supremacy, the war against oppression, the war against a system designed to keep black people powerless. But Fred Hampton also saw their fates. Malcolm X was assassinated in 1965. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated in 1968. And that only intensified his fire. If the government was willing to kill those who spoke the truth, then the truth must be dangerous. By 1960,
It is dangerous.
Fred
Remember
Hampton
that.
had fully stepped into the fight.
And it
He
always
joined
rings
the
true.
Chicago chapter of the Black Panther Party, and within months, he had done something no one expected. He rose to the top, not because he was the loudest or the most violent, but because he was the most brilliant strategist and organizer the Panthers had ever seen.
Your dimples
Fred
are
understood
awesome.
that revolution was not just about guns and slogans. A revolution was about building something real for the people. So, under his leadership, the Chicago Black Panthers launched some of the most effective community programs in the country. The free breakfast program, where they fed thousands of hungry children every single morning. Free
Y'all
medical
taking notes?
clinics that provided health care to those
This
who
is how we
couldn't
fight back.
afford it. And political education classes that taught black people their rights, their power, and their history.
This is what AOC
And
was
that
getting
terrified the US
in trouble
government,
for.
because they knew
For
that
telling
when people are
Latinos
educated, when
and
they are
immigrants their
fed, when
rights.
they are taken care of, they become impossible to control. They become revolutionary. And Fred Hampton wasn't just building a movement.
That's considered
he was building
revolutionary.
an army of conscious
It always has
individuals.
been.
Fred Hampton's ability to bring others into the fight made him truly dangerous. Fred Hampton saw something that the U.S. government feared most. Race was a tool used to divide poor and oppressed people. And if those people ever realized they had a common
I just said
enemy,
this,
the
yep.
system itself, the system would fall.
This is
So,
what we need to make
he
people
did something
realize.
that had never been done before.
We need to make
He
them realize
created
these
the
fuckers are our
Rainbow
enemy.
Coalition. Not just Black Panthers, but the Young Lords, a Puerto Rican revolutionary group. The Young Patriots were poor white Southerners who had migrated to Chicago and were struggling under the same system. Street gangs, activists, and radicals of all races came together under one umbrella in pursuit of a single goal: to take down the oppressive system that was keeping them all in chains. The U.S. government had always been afraid of black resistance, but they had never faced a leader who could unite
They
all
still are
races
afraid of it.
against them. That's when J. Edgar Hoover and the FBI made their decision. Fred Hampton had to be eliminated. You can jail a revolutionary, but you can't jail the revolution. You can run a freedom fighter out of the country, but you can't run freedom out of the country. And you can kill a revolutionary, but you can't kill the revolution. Fred Hampton's voice was powerful, too powerful. And just like they did with Malcolm X, just like they did with Martin Luther King Jr., the United States government made sure Fred Hampton would never wake up on December 4th, 1969.
Assholes.
Fred Hampton lived for the people. He died for the people. And yet his words, his ideas, his revolution, they still live on. While the government succeeded in killing the man, they could never kill the movement. And today, more than ever, we must remember who Fred Hampton was. because his story is not just history, it is a lesson of how power operates, a lesson in how revolutionaries are silenced, and a lesson in why we must never stop fighting for the truth. It's surprising, but what if I told you the United States government launched an illegal war against its citizens? Not just any citizens, but black leaders of the time. Men and women.
I just threw that and just landed in front of Milton's face, and he just was like,
against systemic
okay.
They weren't killed like criminals. They weren't taken
This
down
is
by rival
fine.
groups, but they were hunted down by the FBI, which ought to protect them.
He said
was
FBI.
COINTELPRO, the most dangerous government operation you were ever supposed to know about. And Fred Hampton, he was at the top of the hit list. Let's talk about COINTELPRO to fully understand why Fred Hampton was assassinated. COINTELPRO, or Counterintelligence Program, was a covert FBI operation that was designed to infiltrate, sabotage, and destroy any group that challenged the American power structure.
He's trying to get out the door
center of
now.
it all was one
Yeah, he went
man,
out.
J. Edgar Hoover, FBI director from 1924 to 1972. J. Edgar Hoover wasn't just the director of the FBI, he was the architect of America's war on black liberation. Under Hoover's orders,
Hoover's a piece of shit.
COINTELPRO
It's also rumored that he was a
went far
cross-dresser.
beyond mere surveillance. It used deception, psychological warfare, and outright violence to eliminate black leaders. In a 1967 memo, Hoover wrote that the FBI must do everything possible to prevent the rise of a black messiah. Let me say that again. The FBI feared the emergence of a black leader so powerful that they could unite the people and lead them to true liberation. And so, the U.S. government made a decision. Every black leader had to be neutralized. Malcolm X was targeted, surveilled, and later assassinated. Martin Luther King Jr. was spied on, harassed, and later murdered. Fred Hampton, he was next in line. Unlike Malcolm and Martin, Fred wasn't just leading the black movement. He was uniting all oppressed people of different races and social classes into one revolution. The U.S. government perceived this revolution as dangerous and a threat to their system. That made him the greatest threat of all, even greater than Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. Hoover labeled the Black Panther Party the greatest threat to the internal security of the United States. Not because they were criminals or violent, but because they were feeding hungry children. Yes, that's right.
Y'all hear
They
that?
were doing what the government refused to do, helping their people. And
Once
that's
again,
why the FBI had to shut them down.
This
the FBI didn't just
scares
target
them more
Fred
than
Hampton.
guns.
They waged a full-scale psychological war on the Black Panther Party. They did it in 3 ways. The FBI
The opportunities will be very plentiful for us.
Inside the Black
There will be
Panthers.
lots of
People
food
pretended to be
shortages.
loyal members, but were feeding information back to the government. One
There
of
will
the
be
worst
education
cases was
shortages. There
William
will be
O'Neill.
medicine
He wasn't
shortages.
just any informant. He was Fred Hampton's bodyguard. O'Neill gave the FBI the blueprint of Fred's apartment. And the night before the
I have to poop, but it feels stuck. Stop! Are you trying to kill us?
raid, he drugged Fred's drink so he wouldn't wake up when the police stormed in.
They
That's not just infiltration.
drugged him.
That's premeditated murder. Secondly, the FBI knew that sometimes you don't have to kill a movement, you just have to divide it with psychological warfare and spreading misinformation. So they sent fake letters to Black Panther leaders. These letters were designed to cause mistrust, jealousy, and internal conflict
Keep
among
this
the
in
group.
mind.
They wrote fake death threats.
Keep these
They
tactics
spread
in
rumors
mind,
that leaders
guys.
were FBI informants, which led to deadly
They're gonna use them
confrontations
again.
between the Panthers themselves. It was a classic divide and conquer strategy, and it worked. Another strategy that was employed was the use of the media. The FBI controlled the media.
They're
They
already
gave
doing
false
that.
stories to newspapers, painting the Panthers as violent extremists and criminals. They called them black extremists. They called them domestic terrorists. Does that sound familiar?
Yep.
It should ring a bell.
Antifa?
Because these same tactics are still being used today. The media has always been the government's greatest weapon, and for the Black Panthers,
Lives
they
Matters?
were the first victims of
Yeah,
modern
man. All this
media
shit is
propaganda.
fucking.
Beyond
They just
being a
label it
leader,
terrorists.
Fred Hampton was a
Because
threat
it's a
to
real
the
threat
system
to them.
because he was doing what Malcolm and Martin had yet to do. He brought street gangs together, revolutionaries and working class people, to fight against the real enemy, the government that kept them all oppressed. And that's when COINTELPRO made its move. The FBI didn't just want Fred Hampton arrested, they wanted him dead. And they orchestrated the entire thing. They used an informant to locate Fred's apartment, drugged him so he wouldn't fight back, barged into his home at 4:45 a.m., and executed him in his deep sleep. After the assassination, the FBI and police tried to cover their tracks. They claimed the Panthers started the shootout.
Listen
They
to how
claimed
this
it
went
was
out.
self-defense, but the evidence tells a different story. About 100 bullets were fired.
100.
Only one bullet came from the Panthers' gun.
And wait till you hear
This
why it
wasn't a
came from their
shootout.
gun.
This was a government-sanctioned assassination, and Fred Hampton's blood was on the hands of the FBI. COINTELPRO did not end with Fred Hampton. The government still uses these strategies today. Surveillance, infiltration, psychological warfare. They are still afraid of unity because they know a united people cannot be controlled, nor can they be defeated. And that is why Fred Hampton had to die, because he wasn't just building a movement, he was building a revolution. Fred Hampton's legacy lives on, but the war is not over. Betrayal. It has always been the deadliest weapon in war. And make no mistake, the U.S. government was at war with black liberation. But they didn't fight with guns and bombs. They fought with spies, lies, and psychological warfare. They didn't just kill Fred Hampton, they tried to stop the movement. As if infiltrating his movement wasn't enough, they turned his people against him, and they used a traitor, a man Fred trusted with his life, to set him up for assassination. This is how the FBI's web of deception destroyed the Black Panther Party from the inside. J. Edgar Hoover, the director of the FBI, had one agenda in mind: to shatter the Black Panther Party.
Yeah, they
before it
did. They
became
did.
too
Well,
powerful.
I remember that.
And to do that, he needed to get in among them. COINTELPRO wasn't just about spying, it was
They're
about
scared of
poisoning
unions,
movements
too.
from the inside. Because Hoover knew the truth. A revolution can't be stopped from the outside. It has to be destroyed from within, and that's exactly what the FBI did. The FBI planted informants inside the Panthers, people who pretended to be loyal, who marched, chanted,
Remember
and
this too,
carried
guys.
guns alongside revolutionaries.
Remember this too, guys.
But what happened behind the scenes? They were feeding classified information back to the government. They weren't Panthers, they were traitors. William O'Neill was just 20 years old when he became an FBI informant. How did the FBI recruit him? They caught him stealing cars, and instead of locking him up,
Extortion.
they made him a deal: work for us or go to prison. And O'Neill took the deal, and just like that, he became the government's inside man. O'Neill didn't just spy on the Panthers. He climbed the ranks.
They did the same thing with the
gaining Fred
Anonymous
Hampton's
and shit.
trust. He became Hampton's bodyguard. He had access to top meetings, security plans, and most importantly, Fred's apartments. All while secretly meeting with FBI agents, feeding them information about what has been happening among the group. But he wasn't just a spy, he was a saboteur. His job wasn't just to spy on the Panthers, it was to destroy them from the inside. The FBI knew that to break the Panthers, they had to turn them against each other. So they started sending fake letters. They wrote letters pretending to be one Panther leader, threatening another. They spread false rumors that members were FBI informants. They spurred up jealousy, paranoia, and betrayal among them. Brothers turned against brothers. Panthers stopped trusting each other, and the movement started to crack. Fred Hampton wasn't just leading the Panthers. He was uniting Chicago's street gangs into a revolutionary force. This move terrified the FBI, so they sent a fake letter to the leader of the Blackstone Rangers, which was a powerful gang in Chicago at the time. The letter claimed Fred Hampton was plotting to kill him. It was a complete lie, but the goal was clear: start a war. Get the Panthers and the gangs to kill each other off so the government wouldn't have to do it themselves.
Yep.
This was strategic psychological warfare at its peak, and it was working.
And I mean,
William
honestly, they're
O'Neill's
trying to
final
do.
mission was his deadly.
They're trying to do the same thing with trans people, right? They're trying to push us out of public life, to deny us jobs the way, like, I can't get a job. Poor people, they're trying to deny them Medicare and Social Security, and they just want us to silently commit suicide, right? Or become desperate with crimes, you know, where we'll be arrested and then they'll systemically just deport us or kill us. You know? It's same tactics, different day.
On December 3rd, 1969, O'Neill cooked dinner for Fred Hampton and the other Panthers. What they didn't know was that O'Neill had drugged Fred's drink. That night, Fred fell into a deep drug-induced sleep. A powerful sedative was slipped into Hampton's dinner so that he wouldn't be able to fight. He wouldn't be able to defend himself. He slept so deep that when the FBI stormed his apartment hours later, he never woke up. At 4:45 a.m. on December 4th, 1969,
He didn't even wake up when
the
gunshots
Chicago
are going
police
off.
and FBI
With his
launched a
wife
military-style
shaking
raid
him
on
fucking
Fred
to wake
Hampton's
up. He didn't
apartment,
wake up.
where they fired about 100 bullets. Fred Hampton was shot twice in the head while he lay in bed. He was murdered in his sleep, and William O'Neill helped make it happen.
Straight up
Fred
execution.
Hampton didn't just end up dead. He was targeted. He was watched. He was betrayed by someone he trusted. In the early hours of December 4th, 1969, he was executed in his bed. After Fred's assassination, the FBI and Chicago police lied to the public. They gave a false narrative, claiming there was a violent shootout. They said the Panthers attacked first, but the bullet holes told the truth. This wasn't a shootout, but an execution. William O'Neill lived with that guilt for the rest of his life. Years
As he
later, in
shoulda.
an interview, O'Neill tried to justify himself. He claimed he was just doing his job. He further added that he was caught between two worlds. But the truth, he was a blatant traitor. And in 1990, on Martin Luther King Jr. Day of All Days, William O'Neill committed suicide by running into oncoming traffic. Some say it was an accident, while others say it was his final attempt to escape the weight of his betrayal.
Also, don't kill yourself that way. You're
COINTELPRO
gonna kill
wasn't just
yourself.
some tales of
That's
history.
pretty off.
It
That's
was
pretty
a blueprint.
rude.
A blueprint that the government still uses today. The FBI destroyed black movements before, and they'll do it again if we refuse to stand up for the truth and for what is right. Because as long as black people dare to organize, as long as we dare to fight back, they will always try to turn us against each other. December 4th, 1969. It was still dark outside. The city of Chicago was asleep. But inside a modest apartment on 2337 West Monroe Street, the most chilling act of government-sanctioned murder was about to unfold. The Chicago Police Department, backed by the FBI, was on a mission to eliminate Fred Hampton. This wasn't a random act of violence. It was planned down to the smallest detail.
Yeah.
The FBI had
Super
an inside
premeditated.
man, William O'Neill.
Fuck this cult.
What has lasted
Transphobic, homophobic
5,000
cult.
years?
At 4:45 a.m., 14 heavily armed officers from the Chicago Police Department's
14.
tactical unit surrounded the building. These weren't just local cops. They were working under orders from the FBI's COINTELPRO. Inside the apartment, 7 Black Panther members were asleep, including Fred Hampton and his pregnant fiancée, Deborah Johnson. Then, without warning, the first gunshot rang, and following it was an explosion of gunfire. Bullets from the police guns caused windows to shatter, walls
Didn't traumatize complete strangers with your death. It's not nice, and they might get arrested for manslaughter.
to splinter and ripple through furniture, doors, and flesh. It was a war zone. Surprisingly, out of all the 100 bullets, only 1 came from the Panthers, and it wasn't even aimed at an officer.
Listen.
The truth about the whole situation is that the Panthers never even had a chance to fight back. The first victim of the raid was Mark Clark. He was on security duty that night, sitting near the front door when a police bullet tore through his chest, killing him instantly. His body slumped over. The shotgun in his lap discharged reflexively, firing into the ceiling.
After he was dead,
That
after
was
they
the
shot
only
him.
shot fired by the Panthers. Everything else was pure
And they said it was
execution.
self-defense.
As bullets shredded the apartment, Fred Hampton never even moved. He was completely unconscious from the drug William O'Neill had given him. Deborah Johnson later described the moment in chilling detail. In her words, "I shook Fred. He didn't wake up. I kept shaking him, but he wouldn't wake up."
Guns going off.
Bullets
Shaking.
kept flying.
That's how much they
Other
drugged him.
Panthers screamed as they were shot, beaten, and dragged from the rooms. The officers stormed through the apartment, their weapons raised until they reached Fred Hampton's bedroom, and then the gunfire suddenly stopped. Because Fred was still alive, but not for long. "He's good and dead now," an officer said as 2 officers approached Hampton's motionless body. One of them, Officer Joe Gorman, looked down at the 21-year-old revolutionary. He was still breathing. That's when the most petrifying moment of the entire night happened. According to some survivors, one of the officers said, Is he still alive? Then the other officer raised his gun and pulled the trigger. 2 close-range shots to the head then came to the final words, "He's good and dead now." As the police began to spread their false narrative, the investigation proved otherwise. The majority of bullet holes were coming into the apartment, not out. Fred Hampton's bed was soaked in blood, but not a single bullet was fired from his room. He never even woke up. This wasn't a shootout. This was a state-sponsored execution. At 21, Fred Hampton was already perceived to be a dangerous young boy and a heavy threat by the U.S. government. His fighting cause made him dangerous and a threat to the government. And that's why on December 4th, 1969, they murdered him in...
Yeah, now it's just basically repeating itself for like the next 5 minutes. But, yeah. A little black history for you. Little narco history for you there. Well, y'all, sorry to cut it short, even though I'm in the stream for 2 hours. My eye is really bothering me, so let's go raid our friend Aoda. Go say hi to her, y'all. Give her some love. She's a great friend and a great friend of the community, part of our community. I don't know why I said friend of. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all later. And also, I hope you enjoyed this Just Chatting stream. If you did, let me know. We can do this more often. Take it easy. Bye. Oops, she doesn't accept raids. Okay, cool. We're gonna go raid Coral because I know Coral will accept a raid. Bye, everyone.
Star Trek is like one of the OG corrupting